Let's talk about magic sheets. Now, magic sheets are where you can start to really get creative and really start to personalise Neo. You could create a magic sheet for a rig plan, or maybe you want to kind of create a custom page of buttons, or maybe even you kind of want to create a custom layout of how your stage right of your venue is laid out. You can get really specific and really personalise magic sheets depending on your preference and indeed your venue. So let's take a look. So I'm going to go and close the two windows on the bottom half of my console here. I'm going to go and minimize my classic view, and I'm going to go and open my channels magic sheet. So I've now got a magic sheet on the left hand side of my window. I'm now, before we go any further, I'm going to save this layout. So I've got the magic sheet on the left hand side, I've got my sidebar on the right. So I'm going to go to my layout editor on the right hand side there. I'm going to hit record and tap an empty layout, and I'm going to call this my magic sheet layout. You don't have to do this, I just find it easier because I can now very quickly get back to my normal layout and then very quickly get to my magic sheet. I'm going to make my sidebar a little bit narrower, and I'm going to go and close the layouts area. So we've got our magic sheet. It is a blank box because we haven't done anything yet. But I'm going to go to the editor, and I'm going to give this tab a name, and I'm going to actually call it rig plan because I'm going to kind of make a very basic rig plan layout. But you can obviously customize it depending on your needs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and add some fixtures into my magic sheet. So we can see all of our patch fixtures here. And you've got two options. You've got fixture blocks or fixture symbols. If we go fixture blocks, I'm going to click my first fixture, hold shift to select the range. I'm going to then hold control and click to add an extra one in. And if I click add, that is going to add your blocks. And these are the blocks exactly like you see in the classic grid, but of course we can customize them and move them around to where we want. So if you want to keep things quite basic and just have boxes for each fixture, you can use the fixture blocks. But for me, I'm going to select those and say delete, and I'm going to go and say yes, because I want to add symbols. So I'm going to choose symbols, and I've got those fixtures still selected, and I'm going to add those, and that's going to add a symbol for each fixture, and the symbol will of course be dependent on the type of fixture you are currently adding in. I'm going to select all of these and say I want a small version of those, and I can start to grab these and lay them out how I want to. Now 1 through to 6 are my LECOs, they're my front profiles, so I'm going to kind of arrange those from running from stage right across to stage left. But those fixtures are on a truss. So I'm going to go to miscellaneous here, and I'm going to go and say add truss, and I'm going to add a 5 meter length of truss in. I'm going to go to my rotation field here and spin that 90 degrees and move that. And whoops, and I'm going to go and set that 90 degrees, and I'm going to then pop my fixtures onto this truss and lay them out. And of course you can start to get as accurate or, as not accurate as you need. It's a completely personal preference, and I'm just going to kind of roughly do this. Doesn't matter too much. I am going to go and turn the grid on just to make my life a little bit easier. I can start to check that these fixtures are laid out how I need them. Okay, so what else can I do? Well, I actually want to be able to very quickly select all of my front light at once. Now, I do have a group. Group 1 is all of my front light. So in my miscellaneous option, I've got the option to add a group button. And I'm going to choose that I want to add group 1 in. And that gives me now a button for group 1, which is my front light. So I'm going to resize that, get that where I want it. I'm going to change the colour of that. So I'm going to go and choose that to be this colour here, and I could of course customize that completely if I want to. I could add in RGB values and get very specific, but I'm happy with that. And the caption, I can actually edit that. By default it's the name of the group, which to be honest that's fine. I'm happy with it being the name of the group. And that is my front light. Now I'm going to add in the next LX bar, the next lighting bar, which has got 7 movers on it. So the first thing I'm going to do this time is add in another truss. This time it's a 7 meter length. Again, let's go and spin that one by 90 degrees, and I'm going to move that where I need it. and I'm then going to go to my fixture symbols, and this time I'm going to go and grab 31 through 35, and I'm going to add 36 and 37 as well, and let's go ahead and add those in. And again, I'm then going to go and start to just populate my lighting bar with these. And as I said, you can, if you really want to, spend time getting this very accurate, so you can sort out the spacing of all of these fixtures if you want to. For this, though, I'm just going fairly rough. I'm going to click this button here to zoom to extents, just so I can see things a little bit easier and get those fixtures where I want them. Again, I do actually have a group for these fixtures. These are group 5. I've already recorded that. So I'm going to go to my miscellaneous. I'm going to add a group button, and I'm going to add group 5 in. Let's pop that button over to the side like we did with the other button. Again, I'm going to go and set the colour of this one. Click OK, and I'm going to zoom to extents just so we can see this a little bit easier. And that I'm pretty happy with. I'm pretty happy with that. I've got 2 LX bars and a couple of buttons to select those. So I'm going to hide my editor, and I'm going to zoom to extents again, and I can start to use this now. I'm going to go and open my visualizer bottom right, and I'm just going to move this a little bit so that I can see my stage a little bit easier. And now I've done that, I'm going to go and grab my movers. So I'm going to click my button here. I'm going to turn those on. I'm going to go to my color options, and I can start to adjust those if I want to. I'm going to actually go and click on my front light fixture here. The console by default is in exclusive mode, so if I click a fixture and then click another one, it will deselect the previous. So if I want to, I might want to go and say inclusive selection mode, so that I can start to click lots of fixtures at once if I want to. So maybe I want to deselect those, so I've just got my center stage fixtures, and I'm going to go and turn those fixtures on. So you can see here, you can start to interact with the magic sheet in just a slightly different way that you would to your classic view. It allows you to get a little bit more customization there. And of course, if you wanted to, you could have a rig plan sheet, and I could go and click the little plus up there if I wanted to then go ahead and create another magic sheet. So it's really fully customizable. It's up to you. You can kind of go ahead and create as many different magic sheets for your different purposes as you want. You'll see that in miscellaneous, a couple of the other options, we can just add generic kind of shapes in there if I want to. So I could go and add a donut shape in if I really wanted to. Maybe that's maybe I've got a drum riser that's donut shape. I could go and add that in, for example. I can see I can add just custom text in there. I've got pictures where I can browse for an image, all sorts of various things you can add in. And if you want to start getting advanced with matrices for pixel mapping, you can go and add in matrices from here as well.